chill Guild Wars 2 session. Nothing too fancy. Yesterday I had a lot of excitement in game, but of course all the excitement happens when I'm not streaming. I actually went word boss hunting, and it was great. Loved it. Got some drops, nothing too exciting, but still pretty good equipment. And also side um, as a side bonus to that, I explored a lot of the maps. Well, lightly explored a lot of the maps, which is great because exploring gives you a lot of experience. And also, next time I actually wanna do some word boss hunting, I can do it without having to run around for 20-30 minutes for each and every one of them to try and figure out where they are. So we've got that going for us. Right now in game, my plan is to reach level 60 because I heard that at level 60 you can actually go ahead and try word versus world, which is something interesting um, and specific to this game. Not specific in the sense that other games don't have word vs word, but I heard it's pretty massive in Guild Wars 2. So I'm curious to try that out. But until then, I need to get to level 60. And to do that, I was thinking of actually exploring and completing some of the starter maps that I actually started while looking for the world bosses. Like Wayfarer Foothills, for example. Let's start with that. Let's teleport here and see if we can go from there. So yeah, I was actually thinking of doing some word bosses today, but I actually don't think any of them are found right now. Let me check real quick. So the next one is up in 42 minutes. And it's a red one, so I don't know. I think the red ones are actually harder. Yesterday I did which ones did I do? I did Shadow Behemoth and the Worm. Also tried Triple Worm Threat, but people didn't know what to do. Well, I didn't know what to do either, but I read on it afterwards. People didn't know what to do, and we actually failed miserably. So that was a fail. And I noticed that Triple Worm Threat is marked on some websites as a red world boss, while others are orange. So I can only assume that means it's more difficult to complete than the others. I presume I could try to talk to my guild and go with them at some point. I don't know if they're into doing word boss. Actually, I don't know if doing word bosses is really worth it. But there was quite a number of high level people at each site, so that was actually a nice surprise because you can just show up, and as long as you can figure out how not to get killed, you're pretty much set, and your getting loot is pretty easy as long as you participate and don't die. And even if you die, as long as you get back and continue to do some DPS and participate in some way or another, you're going to get a participation prize. So I actually like that whole concept for Guild Wars. For Guild Wars 2, it's obvious they actually took everything that was wrong with MMORPGs, especially old MMORPGs, the kind I used to play, and basically fixed everything. They fixed the kill stealing, they fixed the scarce resources. For instance, in this game, you um, don't consume a resource, you forage or you dig. They're actually still there for other players to dig, even when you're done with them, which I think is great because it makes the game more playable. Back in the day when I used to play MMORPGs, there was this frustrating problem with people who were more advanced in game or had faster mounts that actually stole resources just like you would steal kills, and it was very frustrating when you're on a resource run and you always had someone fly ahead of you and steal everything that you need. That was very frustrating. Also, another frustrating thing that they fixed with Guild Wars is the way that world bosses used to play out in older MMORPGs. The um, general strategy they used to you used to have to employ for a world boss was to go in with a raid or a party, because otherwise rewards were generally given based on DPS. So if you weren't in a party that was actually dealing a lot of damage, you wouldn't get any loot. um, there was no such thing as a participation prize. So basically, the kill went to the highest DPS party. So that started a lot of drama between players, but also between guilds, because guilds had to actually negotiate word boss times so that they don't steal each other's. Oh, I just completed an event I wasn't even aware I was participating in. Um, so yeah, there was a lot of drama with that, and even if you did negotiate times, a lot of times those were not respected. Um, so the word chat used to be filled with that kind of drama in games I used to play. But here, the concept is completely different. So as long as you're there and you're doing damage and you're fighting the boss, you're going to get a participation medal. And if you're there for most of the event, it's going to be a gold one. You don't need to. It's not based on DPS, which is great because it also gives a chance to support classes and healer classes. I actually hear they have some in Guild Wars too. I'm not. I haven't explored the classes yet. Um, Actually, I started with a warrior exactly because I used to play. I usually used to play very complex classes in the MMORPGs I played. Generally, healer or support type or that kind of, or maybe hybrids like healer DPS, weird stuff like that. And whenever I joined my guild or whenever I joined the party, I usually had a lot of stress going on because I had to keep people alive and the gameplay was very complicated. I did like it, but at some point it does get a bit old. Um, you can't really kick back and relax, play some instance or dungeon or raid in a laid back manner. You can't actually chat, couldn't chat because back then Discord and voice chat wasn't that popular when it came to MMORPGs. Oh, look at this stuff. Let's see. Let's check out the Vista. I love this whole. I love the mood of the snowy mountains with some fog and um, those weird ass statues. So there's a bear, there's an eagle, a puma, I think, and the wolf. Those are probably the guardian spirits of this area. Okay, so we have another event happening around us. Collect fur samples for Linnea. Piles of strange fur. I don't know. Haven't really seen any piles of strange fur, but let's try. Let's give it a try. Okay, there's a pile of fur here. Take it. Yes, thank you. I have some of that. Oh, so I can only get one and drop it, then go get another one. Okay, that's tedious. Pile of fur. Oh, that just wasn't special. Take it. Okay, so they need to be special and not all of them are okay again. Yeah, so with the word bosses in this game, they fixed all of that because here everybody gets a participation prize, and also when the boss is dead, the loot doesn't just randomly drop and you have to run around trying to get your hands on something, and whoever lags never gets anything. When the bosses are killed here, you actually get a huge chest. I love the graphics of it. I mean, the psychological effect is great when you see that you finish the world boss and you see that great golden chest open, ripe with prize waiting for you to grab it. Love it. Um, and I presume you get that's just presumption. I'm not sure. I haven't confirmed it with any of the veteran players in my guild, but I think you get equipment and loot based on your level. I think, because I only got um, stuff that was my level, nothing high level. Then again, I only completed world bosses that were in the starter areas, I think. So that could also be why the gear was lower level. But seeing how Guild Wars works, I do think you get a specialized set of loot for every player. So yeah, that was a fun thing I did. Also, yesterday I managed to do the dailies. I finally understood the dailies, and apparently I accidentally completed part of the dailies today. Wayfarer Foothills event. Okay, so this is where we are actually. So if we do events here, um, we're going to do one of the dailies, which is great. I don't know what daily activity participation is. What are activities? Also, my guild got a guild hall in other news. That's pretty awesome. Um, the guild hall system in this game is also pretty complex. Well, it's similar to the early days of MMORPGs and guild halls, in the sense that you get the guild hall and then you can expand it, and by donating materials. So everybody is participating in the expansion of the guild, but it's different in the sense that there are a few um, designs, not just one. As far as I got it from my guild mates, there are 3 areas of guild halls, and each guild hall looks different based on the area you choose. There's jungle, and then there's I think they mentioned something about snowy mountain. I'm not sure. And desert, but also you can decorate it. So apparently decorating is a thing, which I think is pretty awesome. And all the guild members can do decoration. I wonder if that creates drama, or at least some heated arguments. I mean, not everybody has the same. Decoration is subjective. It's a sort of art, right? So what happens when you have a different vision from the other guild members? Um, but I haven't seen the decorations yet, so I can. Um, maybe they're not that. Maybe there aren't so many options that you would cause severe disagreements related to the visual of your guild hall. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't gotten the chance to really explore it. My guild right now is pretty small. They just started out. Actually, I only joined them because of the awesome name, Ferrets of Doom. I mean, who can say no to that? But so far, talking about guilds and all that, so far, wow! Look at this! Look at this scenery! Look at the landscape below. The game is seriously amazing. What I can say so far is that I found the community really welcoming. People are really nice. They don't seem to mind answering newbie questions. Um, of course, that's generally when you join a guild, especially a small guild that just formed. People do tend to be friendly. It's the bigger, really popular guilds that have all the drama. But also notice that people help each other a lot on the maps without really talking, which is weird. That part is pretty weird. Like, you can go do a set of, I don't know, 3 world bosses with the same-ish group of people and haven't seen a single person talk to each other. Um, People would resurrect you or you'd resurrect people and not even a thank you being said. I think the game was a bit too friendly with the whole idea that you don't need to ask people for help, which is great because generally in old MMORPGs, when you ask people for help, they tend not to give it. So it became a source of frustration, especially for new players. But also that seems to make it a little less seems to make communication like less of a thing that happens a lot in game. Uh, Sorry, my allergies. If my cat is meowing, I'm sneezing, and if I'm not sneezing, some other weird noise is heard from outside. I don't know. I can never record something and not have weird noises on the background. I get that. I guess that's just so I don't forget I'm on you. Um, Not like I have any kind of great equipment or anything. I just have a normal mic that is not even mine actually. um, I My mom found it and gave it to me. So that's how my great passion for streaming and recording was born. But who knows? Maybe I feel motivated enough to get some good mic and maybe a webcam, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm just doing this for fun. I didn't really start this with any kind of expectation or plan. I just figured I love to play games and I'm generally a talkative person, so figured why not? I can play and talk, and maybe somebody finds it fun. Maybe it makes somebody feel less lonely. I don't know. Makes someone try a game that I'm playing. That's also okay. Let's protect Linnea. Where are you, Linnea? Oh, she's already in trouble. Hey, good. Also, another thing that happened um, in between my last stream and this one is that I actually figured out more of the fighting system, which is actually pretty complex, and that's exciting because I used to mash buttons. Oh, she already died. Gotta go save her. Um, I used to mash buttons. That was my combat style. But then I actually took a break and read on the skill descriptions and figured out that there's a lot more you can do with. Well, I was sure the combat is going to be a lot more complex than this because you don't really get a lot of new skills, so um, it only made sense that the skills you do get should be really complex and have some sort of learning curve. So yeah, what I did figure out is that you can actually there are some skills create what's called the area. The areas you see them as circles. I think they're not called areas. I don't know what they're called, but I forgot. Let's call them circles and areas. So certain types of skills cause certain type of terrain effects. Like if you use a skill like this one, you burn the ground, and then yeah, but that's not the terrain effect skill because terrain effects actually leave a lingering circle. So it's actually the skills that you get when you fill up your rage gouge, I think it's called. So yeah, the thing is, if you use one of the um, one of the skills marked with blast or whirlwind or impact, I think um, there are 4 classes. Anyways, if you use them in a circle, they get different type of they give you different type of effects. So that's pretty awesome to know. And apparently that's how some classes like the engineers can heal without using healing skills. But I've been experimenting with that a bit, and also I've been experimenting with less button mashing and more just allowing the auto attack and using skills as I see fit when needed. And it's been working great. It's been working great. I was actually, before yesterday, I felt like, she died again. Just as I was saying that I'm doing great. Yeah, I know. Actions, not words. So yeah, yesterday was the first time I tried using a more conscious approach to mashing the buttons um, for my combat. Um, and I noticed that it's actually a lot more effective configured. Um, and I die less. Not that I didn't choose to die a lot, but still. Also, what I figured out is that you don't always die after you rally. So basically, the game has this interesting system where when you are killed or are supposed to die, um, you get another chance. You get to rally. I don't know the pronunciation of that. Anyways, you get to rally, and if during rally you get 4 skills that are specific to that state of nearly dead, you're basically crawling. So you get some attack skills and the healing skill. You can call for help, like your character screams out, and if other players are around, they can come help you. And also, if you manage to heal enough life, or if you manage to, I don't know, deal enough damage, you enter a rally state where you are resurrected, but this is the interesting part. You get 12 seconds uh, to actually kill a mob, and if you do kill the mob in 12 seconds, you are you're safe. If you don't kill the mob, you actually die. So I used to think that that's a random thing that happens. It's based on luck. I had no clue that I have to kill a mob in the first 12 seconds after I'm rallied. So I didn't know why sometimes I die no matter what I do, and sometimes I seem to rally a lot and then keep on going on my merry way. So yeah, the game is pretty complex, and it took me a while to figure out a lot of the stuff happening. Probably not even 10% there with figuring out the game. But I'm generally speaking feeling a lot more confident in gameplay and what I need to do. I think I have a better understanding of what I can do and what I need to get better at, and generally main um, what my main goals should be um, in mid game, because I think I'm in mid game right now around level 60. Also, I think I got this sense from the very start, but people confirmed it for me. I get the sense that this game is actually meant to be played at end level. Everything up until end level is just you learning how to play. You don't um, like generally if a game is max level 80, you would expect that at around level 60, which I'm close to right now, you'd be a pretty seasoned player, which is not the case. And I think it's not the case because a thing I noticed. How do I get to this? Wait, I need to focus for a bit because there's huh. Okay, there's a vista over there, and I don't know how to get to it. Another thing I noticed and I was pretty aware of when I was playing old school MMORPGs was how people really were getting out of that mind frame of it's okay to grind for a game, because in the early days of MMORPGs, grinding it was just a given. You took it as it was. Everybody did that. Everybody was okay with that. Nobody was complaining about um, the grind, or if they were complaining, they just continued doing it. But as MMORPGs evolved, and as okay, let's look at the vista. I love this mountain area. Wow, those two mountains that are split in the middle, serious Breath of the Wild vibes. Man, that game was gorgeous. I wish I knew how to stream from Switch. I could totally play Breath of the Wild again, or from Wii U. I also have a Wii U and the Wii and the Switch, then PlayStations, a lot of them, and a few handhelds. So yeah, I'm well set in the console department. Yeah, so I was saying that in the mid ages of MMORPG, so to say, about 10 years ago, people were starting to get really annoyed with the whole grinding um concept. So what games did back then, and since back then up until I think um, a few years back, was to slowly integrate automated automations in gameplay. Um, and it started innocently enough, like you could, I don't know, automate routing. Auto routing was a thing, one of the first things that were introduced. And then, sorry, I took a break to see if I'm actually streaming because I've done this before. When I don't, I think I'm streaming, but I don't. So yeah, just a second. Let me see. Okay, everything's great. Okay. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, that auto routing was innocent enough. And after auto routing came auto item picking, auto drop loot picking, which also seemed innocent enough. And then came um and then came AFK auto fighting, I guess, some sort of. And all of a sudden the game was automated, and that's pretty shady if you ask me. That's just a personal opinion, but when you as a game get all these players to just log off stay logged in while they're in your game, and a lot of people went to sleep and left their computer logged on just so their characters would get more levels and I don't know, loot drops, grinding for this item or that. So when you as a game encourage that, you don't have an active player base per se, because an active player base means players that are actually there and can interact with the environment and other players. So you get a bunch of bots basically playing on your server, and that makes me wonder if they don't just feel very attracted to all the computing power of all those computers running their game on idle all night long. Just a thought. Also, consider this: a lot of these companies are Chinese. So, yeah. Going back to the whole idea of how grinding has evolved. So, yeah, it's these games like Guild Wars. I think they're trying to step away from that. Really, basically, that's a dead end because yeah, it is convenient for players, but also make it less of a game and make it seem more of I'm just going to leave my game logged in and gain some levels. In a way, I think in that sense, MMORPGs became really similar to mobile games. The kind of games that just have this time gate on your progress. Like you need to just allow the game to go to work on your phone. Be a backend app, be active there, and then you go back after an hour or two or three, and a part of your city is complete, or this vegetable has grown, or I don't know. Not really playing a lot of mobile games, or any at all. But yeah, so in a way they became very similar, and I believe it makes sense because you know the whole um, it's the same domain, and they communicate. Mobile game developers and MMORPG developers and all kind of game developers. They all take inspiration from each other. So I think games like Guild Wars just looked at the issue differently. They figured out people need to level up fast, and that's the thing. That's another thing that along with the auto routing and the auto fighting and the auto item picking and the auto everything, another thing that um, needs mid-range MMORPGs. I don't know, the ones that have been around since 2008, 2009, 2010. Were doing was making it really, really easy to level up. And as a player, I've actually played my last MMORPG before this one was in 2010, I think. And it was a game called Forsaken World. I played that for 2 years. Um, I was a guild leader, had a pretty huge guild that became basically first on the server for a while before I quit. It was an interesting time, but yeah, in that game when I started, like in 2008, you needed to put in the grind to level up. So the maximum level there was also 80. So it took me maybe a year to get to level 80. And then the game started changing and they started making it easier and easier for characters to level up. So after playing it for a year or so, if I was making a new character, I could get my character to level 60 or 70 in a few days, which was really, really um, weird and unpleasant for old school players, for the old player base, because we put in the hours and you're seeing all these newbies that could get in the high level instances and high level dungeons and all of that, but they had no clue how the game was played. So I'm circling back to my point. My point was that Guild Wars 2 fixed this or found the workaround by making it easy to level up, but putting all the juicy, all the good game, all the good game stuff past level 80 at end game. So they made the leveling not so much the point anymore, um, just a learning, just a learning curve to the real game that happens at level 80, which is where I'm trying to get. Uh, and together I should probably focus on what I'm trying to do, which is completing this map. Okay, so we've done 3 out of 15 hearts, 2 out of 8 hero points, 10 out of 17 waypoints, 5 out of 10 vistas, and 7 out of 20 points of interest. I'm heading to a point of interest now, and I got stuck on something. Okay, so heading to this point of interest now, and let's see where we go from there. Maybe we reveal some more of the map over here, and we get something interesting there. Okay, so we have a quest. These are not actually quests; they're missions. I think they're called. Um, which is great because that's what I was looking for. So we need to entertain the children by throwing snowballs at children and dodging snowballs thrown at you. Fight off any hostile creatures when the children make someone angry. Okay, let's play with the kids. Hey kids, come on. Let me show you how it's done. Hey, hey kiddo. Hey, oh right target. Oh, well he showed me how it's done. Now I know. Now I got it. Now I know. I need more snow. Yeah. Now I know. Are you going to throw it at me? There you go. Oh, did I hit you? Did that hurt? That's how it's done. Yup. Yeah, I'm a pretty nasty. That's not entertaining children. That's making children angry. That's aggravating children. Okay, let's kick the kid's ass. Hey kid, man, my target sucks. That's another thing. I don't know. For some reason, I was never um very good with using controller for targeting. I was never exceptional at any shooter games. Don't really like them either, but I did play some in my time. I sound like such an old lady. Um, I did play some. Um, I used to play Quake. I used to love Quake. And also, of course, I played Doom and I played, you know, stuff like that. I actually played a bit of Fortnite. But I got bored pretty fast when I figured out I could just, grab the helicopter and be the first, grab the helicopter and then fly around the map until the end. And that made it pretty boring for me. Of course, nobody. I mean, I can not do that, but knowing I can do that kind of took the fun out of it for me. But there's also the fact that I'm not really good with aiming with a mouse. I probably don't have the best mouse on the either. I just have a plain old uh, Logitech, I think. You know, the not the fancy kind, the office kind. Um, I'm actually a lot better at aiming with the controller because, like I said, I have a lot of consoles. Like most of my gaming has been on consoles. Only in recent years I started using a computer for gaming because I didn't have the last generation consoles. But I did have a pretty good computer since I work in web design and graphic design, and I also sometimes play with uh, video editing. So I needed a good computer. I had the perfect excuse to get a good computer, and that's when I started um, gaming on computer as well on PC. But before that, it's been consoles all the way, PlayStation mostly. So I'm way behind in terms of being very agile with the mouse. Also, I don't think I do have an Xbox controller for my computer. And that's how I play most games. But I don't think this game is that um, well suited for a controller. I don't know. Has anybody played with a controller? Then again, if I think about it, there are not that many buttons. Maybe they did it on purpose, so that it's also playable with a controller. I should read up on that. I try to read up on that. See what people think about it. Because I really don't know anyone who plays Guild Wars. Um, I don't have friends who play it. I only have the guild I just joined. Excuse me. And they're friendly, but we're not really there yet. Um, I'm trying to get my best friend to join. Maybe if I do, we can have a few. Maybe we can have a few streams together because she's a party. She's a complete party, and um, I totally shine when I'm around her. She brings out the worst in me in the best kind of way. So maybe that will happen. Actually, another regret I have talking about my lack of friends that play games, and the lack of friends that play online games is actually because I haven't played online games for about 10 years. So all the friends I had, I just lost touch. I'm no longer in touch with them. But maybe I'll make new friends. Yeah, and one of my regrets is that I can play Among Us. I would love to play Among Us. I would absolutely love to play it, but I literally don't have who to play it with. I don't think that would be all that fun in 2 or 3 players, so you need a bigger team for that. And also, I kind of get the feeling that it's a game that gets toxic fast if you play it with strangers. So not not really. Um, I don't feel attracted to trying it with strangers at all. So for now, I guess that's what do I need to do? Bring foul-smelling underwater plants to land. Okay, so I need to get underwater. Um, yeah, my my Fitbit watch is telling me I've been sitting down for too long. Well, I can't help that. I don't have a standing desk. I promise I won't sit down when I get to the standing desk. That's that's a personal promise. But actually, it should shut up because I have like 20,130. I have a problem saying three, three, 32 steps, and the distance of 2.3 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles. Don't ask me. I'm from Europe. We measure everything in kilometers. So have no clue. Okay, get some flowers. Also, another cool thing about this game is that you get a different set of equipment for underwater, which is awesome. I actually got a cool harpoon gun from my world boss round yesterday. How many do I need to bring? I need to bring him a lot. He didn't mention. He wasn't very exact. Yeah, so I was saying that me not playing online games. I'm fresh out of friends I could play with, and that makes it pretty difficult to play a few interesting games like Among Us. Um, I think this is a different. That's a different route. And most of my, one of the worst things about being an adult is is that you rarely meet people that um love to game, love to play games. Um, when you are a kid, pretty much everybody has a console and plays something. As an adult, it gets a lot harder. Most people have stopped playing a long time ago, and they look at you like you're pretty crazy for still playing. And consider this: um, I have a kid. I have a 7-year old kid. Um, I'm a pretty young mother, so I have a kid and I'm a gamer and I'm a woman, so everything gets pretty confusing. Like my poor kid trying to explain to his to his friends at school that it's his mom who's pretty good at games, pretty awesome, and they're all like, "Nah, that's what fathers do." No, kids, that's not what fathers do. That's what everybody does if they like games, regardless of gender. Also, the amount of kids of 6 years old and well now 7 years old that play shooter games, it's astonishing. Like I've actually allowed my kid to play games at a pretty early age, 4 I think, because I've started playing games at a pretty early age, with Sega Mega Drive and all that awesome stuff back in the day. But I've started him off on Mario and Crash Bandicoot and Zelda more recently. And then I introduced him to Minecraft, and that was the end of everything. But I would never allow my kid to play shooting games. I think they're too young for that. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think games make you violent. I really don't think so. I think that's bullshit, and I think it's just an excuse for people not to look at what really makes those kids be so, um, you know, uh, make it so hard for them to adapt to society and to integrate. But still, don't think that shooting games are good for kids that young. I mean, they're too young to really be aware of the fact that that's a game, and you know, games are it's just like, would you give your kid a book about, I don't know, World War II? Would you let your kid read a book about World War II or about Vietnam? If you wouldn't let them read a book, or if you wouldn't have them sit with you and watch a movie, then why would you allow them to play a game that's similar in content? I mean, the problem is that people see games as um childish thing to a point, or as a mean of entertainment more so than a visual art, just like a movie, or um, you know comparable to reading a book or a comic. And when they see it as pure toys, basically, they somehow think that it's okay to allow kids to play any game because they're games. I don't think that's how it works. I'm completely against that idea. I think everything is. I think age appropriate things are very important um, for a kid's. For a kid growing the way they should, and developing um, psychologically the way they should, um, and becoming becoming adults that have all the proper um, empathy responses in place and all of that. Um, I'm afraid actually that exposing young children to really violent media, be it games or I don't know, anything, is really, really detrimental for their long-term development. I think it affects their empathy, basically. It affects their ability to, as long as if you get a kid at a very young age to normalize violence and normalize murder and normalize shooting and and idealize this soldier figure that is usually the main hero in those kind of games, then you got yourself a problem because they skipped all the parts of being the hero who defeats the symbolical evil, being the hero of light, going on an adventure, even saving the princess. But it's even better when the princess can actually save herself. That's why I love Zelda. I love Zelda, and I love the lesson it teaches, and I love the message it sent my kid. I love how now he thinks Princess Zelda is just as cool as Link after playing Breath of the Wild, and I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. I think more games should be that way, and actually more games are like that because well we live in the political correctness era, which is both equal parts great and absolutely annoying. I think some people take it way too far, way too far, and people like being offended so much that they get offended on behalf of other people without even knowing how they feel about that. Um, I'm completely okay with nationalistic jokes. I'm completely okay with that. I'm completely okay with people making jokes about Romania, which is the country I'm from. I'm perfectly okay with that as long as it's humor, and as long as it's not um, really the dangerous type of humor that you know touches on deeper problems. uh, you know, I like making Jew jokes regarding I don't know World War II, that kind of humor. That's not okay. But other than that, I think humor should be allowed liberty of expression. I really think so. And at the same time, we should, of course, encourage all the voices that support diversity and that support minorities and that support and educate on a lot on a lot of those concepts, but not at the price of basically censorship. Um, it's not okay to censor anything or anyone. Yeah, people should be held accountable for their opinions. I agree. But I think cancel culture is going too far to the point that people are being judged for remarks they've made years ago when everybody was making those kind of jokes and those kind of remarks, but just because some people are in the public eye and they're, so-called celebrities, especially YouTube and internet ones, oh crap, that was stupid. Yeah, they get really heavily criticized, and I don't think that's okay in the sense that um, there should be there should be um, a level uh, of offense. You know, I mean, there should be levels of what's considered really offensive and what's considered, and there should also be an understanding that what's considered offensive now wasn't always considered offensive. You cannot judge someone on what they've done or said back when that certain thing was considered okay and everybody was doing it. It's not necessarily it's not a way. a correct way to judge a character, in my opinion. Of course, I'm probably saying something very controversial, but I'm not, I'm not famous, so whatever. I can say whatever the hell I want. Um, I believe people should just be more empathic. Empathic. I think as long as we would all be more empathetic and we could all relate more to each other and be more open in the sense that, okay, if I make a joke that bothers you, then you should be able to tell me and I should be able to accept that and not do it again. And that should be the end of it. There shouldn't be any real drama about that. I think the drama should really start at the point of someone continuing the really offensive jokes knowing they're hurting someone. Yeah, yeah, that's a point where you can totally blame them. But when you don't, when it's not intentional, when it's, some people are not even aware of, saying something that could be considered offensive. Consider this: there are so many cultures, so many people, so many places, so many countries. um a joke in my country could be completely offensive in a different country. Maybe we're used to, I don't know, calling each other girly because that's a language thing. And yeah, I'm a female and I'm all about feminism and female empowerment and all of that, but I do understand linguistics. I'm not going to start getting I'm not going to start looking at just the linguistics of it as a problem, instead of looking at the bottom of the problem and trying to educate people. It's so easy to get angry just because somebody calls, I don't know, something you did girly. It's a lot harder to understand that it's simply a part of their culture, just like you would say, "Oh my God," you know, and have the conversation with them. Maybe that's a great conversation starter, for instance. It can start a conversation of where you ask them, okay, but have you ever given a real thought to that expression? Have you ever considered if you feel that expression identifies with the way you see things? I think that's um, a better approach, but that's just me. And I'm not trying to impose my philosophy on anything and anyone. Actually, that's one of my philosophies, not trying to impose my philosophy on people. Not even my kid. Um, I like to discuss things with him and let him come to his own conclusions and build his own uh, view of the world. I think that's the healthiest approach to parenting, because otherwise you just create a mini me, and we all know we've all done mistakes. We don't want our kids to repeat them. I mean, if my kid does his own mistakes, that's okay. If he repeats my mistakes, then that one is on me, and I don't want that on me. So I want to allow him to make his own mistakes and avoid mine. Okay, we found another vista. This got a bit too. Maybe this got a bit too deep. Go back to having some fun. But yeah, as a conclusion, what I was trying to say about different cultures and different countries and different um and the the traps of linguistics is that it's literally impossible, no matter how careful you are, no matter how thoughtful you are, no matter how much of an empath you are, it's literally impossible not to eventually say something that offends someone else. It's impossible. You'll find people of different cultures, of different views, of different beliefs, of different political orientations, of different sexual orientations, of different races, and it gets to the point where it's really, really impossible not to say something that's offensive at some point. That's why I think the conversation should change to educating people about them being um, offensive and giving them a chance to show if they're actually accidentally offensive or just, douchebags. Because most of the times, I think you'll find that people are accidentally offensive. They're just never given it any real thought. Um, Never really considered that they're your their way of talking could be offensive. And that's it. That's literally just what it is. And I think that would save a lot of drama, and that would make people feel better about the way they relate to each other. That's also a personal lesson I've learned, because the internet actually helped me with that. I saw I saw a video of a transgender woman who was she had transitioned from man to woman, who was in a woman's sports team. I can't remember what kind of sport. Anyways, a sport that related heavily on muscle power. Um, and people were complaining about that. And I will admit that I was of the same opinion. I thought that, you know, probably the woman who has transitioned is stronger because maybe she retains some of her muscle mass from before. So I admit that I was actually biased in that sense, but I listened to her. She was giving an interview about it, and she explained all about the hormones and the kind of changes they are doing on in her body. And she actually came in with the science and explained the levels of hormones she has versus a normal woman and how that affects her performance. And she changed my mind immediately. Like she changed my mind immediately and forever. Like I completely understand it now, and I would never be past thinking that it's unfair again. But that's because she explained it with empathy. That's because she took the chance to educate people with that situation rather than um, make it into a self victimizing dramatization of like the media scandal or anything of the like. I really respect that woman, and I think I'll be thinking about her even 10 years from now or 20 years from now as a person, a stranger on the internet that taught me a really, really important lesson. I think bottom line is as long as you're willing to listen, uh, you can change, willing to listen and willing to change your mind as long as you're given the correct logical information that can help you change your mind, then you're set and you're okay. And don't worry if you're going to offend someone, because we all do at some point. Just think about uh, how you can put yourself in their place and walk a mile in their shoes, as they say, and see if you can better understand them and do better, be a better person yourself by understanding them. Anyways, I think that's about it for today. Haven't really done much in game. Um, we're not even level 58 yet. I think that's a dead. Uh, is that a dead player or is that a dead NPC? I never know. I swear, I never know if. How dare you? 8-8. Oh, I had to do that. Okay. I thought it stole my thing. Oh, right. So I have food and I need to find bunnies. Now I get it. That's how I honor their spirit. Come on, grab it. I wish they could be a bit gentler with that. Hey, bunny. Yeah, I know I was saying this is about it for today, but I want to finish this. I don't know. I don't think it's. Go away. Is that what I need to do? Find hidden rabbit food and bring it to Journey. Scare hungry bunnies away from anyone carrying food. Right. So they shouldn't grab it from me. This is probably, yeah, this is an event. This should be, or isn't it? Oh, I can scare them while I'm carrying. Okay. Oh wow, this is going to take forever. Oh, I can run. Okay. There's a cooldown on that. Yeah, that's going to take a while. I wonder how many bags I need to bring. No, stay away. Let's see how much completion this gives us. Yeah, I found some food. Um, I wonder if there are any bags closer. Yeah, I think this is an NPC. Frankly. Yeah, it was an NPC. Come on, bags of food. All of them are placed really far from the... No. No, you don't. No, you absolutely don't. Thank you. No. No. No, 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 no. No. Little assholes. Go away. I need to get this food to baby bunnies. You wouldn't steal from baby bunnies, would you? Or are those not babies? Oh no, that's a big bunny, but maybe it's a herd bunny. Okay. I think I need two more. Oh wow, that's so close. Yes, I want this one. Use this one, please. Oh no! The bunny ate his... No! Go away. Poor guy. The bunnies ate his food. And... Okay. One more. One more. Please tell me there's something close. That poor guy got... he got stolen from again. I wonder if he hasn't figured it out yet or he's just that unlucky. Yeah, that doesn't really look like it might dust good. You're just running a bit faster than walking. Come on. Yeah, that's it. Please tell me this is the last one. Hey, look. Karos Choleri. I cannot pronounce that. He... See, maybe I just... Maybe I just accidentally insulted someone right now. He managed to give some food too. Way to go, dude. Way to go. Oh, I think that's a fractal thing. Not sure. I accidentally entered one once. Of course I wasn't streaming. Apparently I only do fun things when I don't stream. Um, that's probably also the it's a newbie curse because when I stream and I talk, I can't really concentrate that well on the game yet. Um, I'll get there. I'll get there eventually, but it's getting it needs some getting used to, especially when English isn't your first language. So I'm pretty fluent. Uh, I've been actually working. Uh, I've been working with English. I think I've been only working with English uh, people and English, actually American businesses for the last 5 years, and before that, I've actually worked a few jobs and had a few projects, non-profit projects that were also uh, entirely in English. So I'm pretty fluent, but there's a difference between having to hold a normal conversation and having to speak for a whole hour um, while trying to play a game and staying alive. So it takes some getting used to, but I can totally see um, an improvement since I've started, and that wasn't. I mean, I've only started this past week, so hopefully I'm going to get better and better at not saying boring things and doing more fun things. So that being said, I think I call it a day. Bye.